Let's talk about how do you become successful as a copywriter or a digital marketer, even if you're not a native English speaker. Well, at this point, I'm heading out for some banking work, but let's talk about it on the way. Alright, so I'm done with the banking work. Let's talk about your roadmap as a copywriter. Now, initially in your career, when you approach clients from the US, UK, you are going to face rejection because they would have an objection with you, which is, hey, you're not an native English writer, and which is true, right? We're not native English writers. It's not our primary language. It's not our first language.
समझ रहे हो?
So how do you overcome that objection? What should be your roadmap? Because a lot of copywriters get dejected and eventually give up, thinking that they really can't make it big in the copywriting world because they're not native English writers. But here is what you need to be doing.
तो क्या करें भैया?
Remember that every skill is learnable. There are very few skills in the world which you cannot learn and become good at. So while you're learning the skills and while you're understanding and learning the native language patterns, because remember this, every country has its own pattern of writing. Every country has its own writing style. There are certain phrases, there are certain words that you need to understand when you plan to write for specific countries. So while you're trying to acquire those skills and learn those specificities of the language for the clients that you plan to work with, here is what you need to do, because that's going to take a while. Now, give and take 1 year should be the average learning time to become really good at, let's say, learn. Remember that every skill is learnable. There are very few skills in the world which you cannot learn and become good at. So while you're learning the skills and while you're understanding and learning the native language patterns, because remember this, every country has its own pattern of writing skills. Step number 1, start writing for clients in India. And without being offensive or sounding disrespectful, there's a big chance that clients in India wouldn't really be that picky about the language patterns when it comes to the clients in the US or the UK. So you start working with clients in India, write content for them, write website content, write blog articles. Well, another point in fact is clients in India do not value copywriters that much. They still don't understand the value of good copy. So do not expect to be paid a really big amount to write copy for clients in India, but that should help you survive. And more than survive, it should help you make a decent living. So live off that money for a year, and in the meantime, learn the language. Remember that every skill is learnable. There are very few skills in the world which you cannot learn and become good at. So while you're learning the skills and while you're understanding and learning the native language patterns, because remember this, every country has its own pattern of writing. If you're ready, start reaching out to clients, because your language, when you reach out to them, your email itself would let them know that, hey, this person can write like a native US writer would or like a native UK writer would, and they wouldn't really have that objection with you then. Remember, it's a trifactor. Up your skills, in the meantime make money, and then reach out to clients. Patience, perseverance and commitment is what you need to make it big in the industry. And remember this, never ever give up on your dream, because you're not a native English writer or a speaker. You can learn it. I did it. You can do it too. Let's go. Time to head back home. Never ever freaking give up. Oh, and remember this, I sucked at writing. My grammar was all over the place and I used to stammer, couldn't speak clearly, but it changed. I put in the work. I was persistent that I want to make it big as a copywriter. It's the kind of life I want to live. It gives me the freedom to do what I want to do, work when I want to work, and that's what you should be having at the top of your mind always. Remember that it can give you the freedom, so put in the work for the freedom. And language is never a big deal. It's just a skill, and like any other skill, you can learn it if you're given the time. Bye bye, take care.